Backjournaling. Webster's dictionary defines backjournaling. No, I'm kidding. For me, backjournaling means sitting on the couch on a Saturday morning, Real Housewives is playing, or some weird like cult documentary, and I'm filling in the week. I don't have a schedule that allows me to work in my Hobonichi every day, nor do I think I want to work in it every day for a couple reasons. One, I have a creative job. Sometimes it's hard to come home from being creative and continue to be creative. And two, I am 0 to 100 emotion-wise. And if something happens to me that day that is kind of negative or bad, I will harp on it. And I think if I were to sit down and work in my Hobonichi daily, I would end up leaning into a feeling that I don't want to spend any more time on. So I like having that distance between me and the days a little bit. It does require me to either make notes throughout the week or go digging in my phone, but it works out in the end. So my hope for today's video is just to share with you my process. I don't think it's groundbreaking in any way. It is what works for me. I would love to hear more about like how you backjournal and what that looks like for you. So for the time being, we'll have this view while I kind of go through and gather information, and then I'll switch you over to top view and we'll actually maybe fill in some pages together. I'm really nervous about that. I don't normally do this on camera. Again, I'm like braless on the couch. I've probably spilled coffee on me at some point, and no one ever sees the like creation process. So I feel like nervous and like kind of shy to do it. But anyway, it'll be great. All right, so the first thing that we're gonna do is press screen record so you can actually see what I'm doing. And then we're gonna pull out the Hobonichi. So I'm just gonna take a second and look through what I'm behind on. I know I'm behind on my monthly days. So on the month, I write like a snippet of the day that happened. I'm a couple days behind that, a few days behind that. I'm behind on my weeklies. I haven't even finished February, and I haven't done any for March yet. Whoops. I should be embarrassed, but I'm not. This is just how it always is. I am completely done with January, and I'm not done with February. So it looks like in February, the last thing I did was February 17th. So I have 18th through the 29th to do. We're not going to do that much together today, but I will go ahead and kind of plan it out. Because I do this on my couch, how many times am I going to say that? Because I'm like very casual about this, there's not a lot of like forward planning before I actually put pen to paper in my Hobonichi. So typically what I would do is I would turn to Sunday, February 18th, where it's blank, and say, okay, what happened this day? What do I want to do? And then I would do it. But for the sake of entertainment purposes, what I'm going to do is take some Post-it notes and kind of just write down an overview of what happened that day. So that way, when I use my phone to film later, I won't have to keep like stopping and looking and whatever, because I rely on my phone so heavily for this. So I'm going to go ahead and let's just pull out a few of these, and I'm going to cut these in half really poorly. Shockingly poorly. Like I know how to cut, I promise. All right. And so here's where my plan starts. So the first thing I do, honestly, because I'm so active on Instagram, I go to my archive, to my stories archive, and I click the calendar button, and I genuinely just go to February 18th. So February 17th, my friend Kelsey got married. We've been in a book club, all of us together for almost a decade. So we were together in Wilmington, North Carolina at her wedding. It was fun. And so the next day, Elaine and I got breakfast, and I know all of this, not because I remember, because it's in my stories. And then we started the journey back. It looks like I did an Ask Me Anything kind of Q&A box on Instagram, which is always really fun. And that's pretty much it that day. Yeah, that's it that day. So I have some options here for February 18th. I could talk about how I was feeling on the drive home, which was really overwhelmed and really tired. I had gotten in an accident on Friday, so a couple days before, and I just hadn't really recovered from that. Or I could dedicate it to the Ask Me Anything. I could write down the questions and maybe some answers. I did that last year with a spread where I had people ask Elaine, my girlfriend, questions, and that was actually really fun. Or I could truthfully print out pictures from the wedding and just be like, look how hot we looked. Which, if I'm being honest with you, that's kind of where I'm heading with that, because I don't feel like dwelling on like anything else or writing out answers to all those questions. So what I'm going to do is just write drive back from wedding. And maybe I'll do like, I'll put AMA in the corner just so I can remember. And the pro tip here is to date this sticky note, because when I was doing a ton of back journaling last year to finish my 2023 Hobonichi, I would write on the post-it note what happened, and then I'd get to the page and start to journal, and then misplace the sticky note, and kind of like, I'm really bad about taking it off and like flipping to a different page and sticking it there just to get it out of my way. And so I got a few dates like really wrong, because I hadn't dated the post-it note essentially. So then the next day was actually President's Day, and I had a really busy day that day. I had to go to work. I had a meeting with a friend of mine that I do some business with. Went to the gym, and I went back to work. So honestly, this day, this started into me having a really stressful week. So I think what's going to have to happen, I can't decide how much I want to spend on like the emotions of it all, because I do think I will write out a little more long-handed on my weekly how I was feeling this week, because a lot of things, spoiler alert, a lot of things are about to happen. So I think I'm just going to make this, I had work, I went to the gym, I met with Olivia, and then Elaine sent me a funny like yellow hat meme that honestly is probably going to end up being that whole page, because again, feelings are hard and I don't want to deal with feelings. So those 2 pages are done. These post-it notes are possibly the worst ones I could have chosen. Let's see, February 20th, we went to a coffee shop and got coffee. I shared a bunch of memes. Oh, I finished my project for a conference I'm going to. Project out of kiln. Later this month, went to the gym. And that's pretty much it. And so this is also when my dad called to say my mom was in the ER. Yeah. Wednesday, let's see, Wednesday the 21. So I filmed 2/21, filmed my Jan flip through, and then found out Mama had had a heart attack. So I pretty much entirely shut down that day. And then here's where it is going to get a little bit fuzzy, because I did pretty much emotionally shut down. And I wasn't posting on Instagram very much because I just didn't feel like it. So in situations like this is when I would go to my camera roll and type in February 22nd. And so, of course, it's going to search my entire camera roll. So it's going to bring up everything from any February 22nd that I've had in this phone. So okay. So this reminds me. So I went to the gym that day. I went to the gym. Elaine and I went and ate dinner at one of our favorite spots. And then on the way back home, she like tripped really dramatically. And it was so funny that I pulled the footage from the Ring camera. I'll show it to you. I pulled the footage from the Ring camera, and it like was such a highlight through a very stressful time. So maybe I'll like put that somewhere. I also said something really stupid that day. I was like, oh my God, can you believe it's 2/22/22? And Elaine was like, it's not. So, I'm so stupid. So I'm definitely kind of in these daily pages focusing a little bit more on fun because I had already planned to, on the weekly spots, do a little bit more journaling than I normally do on those pages. I normally do like very drawing heavy and have a little bit more fun with it, but I didn't feel like having fun this week. So there's that. So then that leads us to Friday, 2/23. Let's see if I was back to posting on Instagram. Went to the gym, surprise, surprise. Posted yesterday's thing. That was actually so funny to me. And that was all I posted. So I don't know what I did that day. So I got to go back to the camera roll. And I really only have gym footage. Yeah, that's from last year. So in this case, like maybe I would talk about how good I felt about these push-ups. My gym did a push-up challenge for the month of February, and this is the day where I was like feeling progress and feeling really good. So I could talk about that, or I could just fully make this a fun page. And it could be that I just need a fun page. So maybe I'll leave that open for like memeability. We have been watching Traders. Of course, I'm watching Housewives. This is kind of how I figure out what I want to do there. I start looking at like, okay, what did I do? And if I didn't do anything, how am I feeling? And if I don't want to talk about how I'm feeling, then I go into like playful mode. So what am I watching? What am I reading? So this could be anything from like that picture of Phaedra and CT in the river or stream or whatever, and it says, I'm going to tell my kids this is Jack and Rose. I might do that. I might dedicate this to monster smut because I'm currently in like my monster romance era. Or I don't know. I'm going to leave this one open. I tend to kind of just leave those for last. Maybe I'll put a list here of like things that I want to do in March, or, you know, to-do list stuff. That's very unfun, but I don't really want to do that. And then, so you kind of get the gist of it. I mean, again, I'm not really trying to get you in like, I don't want to depress you. Oh, so I will put here, what am I saying? I posted Jan Flip video. And then just worked on my Hobonichi. I watched the Mother God documentary. That was crazy. Oh, and then the next day I went to Beyonce Drag Brunch. So that's pretty good. So that's about a week of stuff. Beyonce. Yeah, it was crazy. Like, so crazy. Here's the good one. Insane. Ugh, love to see it. So that's a good look at how I do this. I start by looking at what's empty. Oh, I forgot one thing. Occasionally my camera roll and my Instagram story archives will fail me. And that's when I go to my Hobonichi weeks and I flip through and I check to see what happened on that day, and solely in terms of just like a to-do list. So that has been helpful. In months past, I have, how amazing would it be if I didn't flop this right now? Anyway, in weeks past, I will set up a spot on the second page of my Hobonichi weeks, like the notes page, and write in an overview of the day. And that does really help me, especially on the month portions where I do the kind of quick snapshot of the day. But it does help jog my memory about what happened that day, what I was feeling, because sometimes you just need all the help you can get. Wow, the amount of stuff I need to do this week is shocking. All right, so now let's do this. Let's do this. Tea's gone cold, I'm wondering why I got out of bed at all. No, but really, everything is set up. And I went ahead, because I'm using my phone to record, I went ahead and printed some photos using my Canon Ivy. There's a new Canon Ivy out, and if you have it, please tell me if I need it. I think the picture quality is supposed to be a little bit better. And listen, for what I use it for, it's fine. So I just need to calm down and not spend an additional $80. But I printed out pictures from the wedding that I can put on that Sunday page because I don't really feel like dedicating anything to the drive back or ask me anything that I did. So I just printed off some pictures of us, and I'll kind of put that around and do a little bit of a recap of the wedding because, spoiler alert, on the actual like wedding day page, I dedicated most of it to the accident that I had and the drive up, but I did make a little pocket for the program, which is fun. And I did put a picture of book club here. So it's like, there's a bit of what actually happened on this page, but it's mostly just kind of dedicated to this. So I thought it would be nice to actually reserve some space for the wedding. And then I just thought, like, I did accidentally print this picture off. That's fine. But I thought, let's tackle Saturday, which is when I posted the January flip through video on YouTube. If you haven't watched it, go back and watch it. And what I did last month when I posted my tools video, where could it possibly be? Oh, it was this month. Good for me for getting 2 videos out. I dedicated a page to the day it was posted, and I had a lot of fun kind of like illustrating some things. So I will maybe do that again. So I printed off the cover of the video, and I want to play around with like making a spread with it. So that's what we'll do today, as in an attempt to like not hold you forever here and try out this format. Also, the thought of doing this without something playing in the background, torture. Me sitting here alone with my thoughts, do not recommend. And to be honest with you, I did go ahead and remove the post-it notes that were behind it because I find, oh my God, no, I didn't. So where did these come from? Oh yeah, I did. Okay, calm down. Because sometimes my pencil will like catch on the post-it notes back here. So I'm actually just gonna, and this is why we date them, because I'm gonna pull them out and put them over here. And if we didn't date them, we would have just done all of that research for nothing. So just to talk you through, I don't ever talk through anything here. I truly cannot talk, and I can't talk through drawing something when it's my first time doing it. I teach a lot of classes about how to paint pottery, but it's always a project I have painted before. So that makes it a whole lot easier. You kind of like shut off and go on autopilot. I haven't done this before. Oh, there's a full moon on Saturday. I haven't done this before, so to be honest with you, am not gonna talk through this. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cancel this, and I'm just gonna use this. I'm gonna watch something so that I feel more comfortable and can actually do this, and then I'll do voiceover video and video if there's anything that we need to talk about. That sounds fine, right? And just to tell you what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna give you my view of watching this video on my TV from my living room, so, all right. So to get started, I am taking the cover of the video that I printed for my Canon Ivy, and I'm plotting it out on the page because I want it to be on the TV. So from there, I was able to sketch out the TV, and it's sitting on top of like a bookshelf display thing that Elaine actually built. I sometimes forget that. What I did before I started is I took a picture of my area, like a landscape photo, so I could see a bunch of stuff at once, because I knew the perspective wasn't going to be perfect, and I didn't want it to be perfect because I think it looks cooler and like more in my personal style if it's not like a perfectly rendered drawing. So from there, I'm just sketching everything in. I've got my coffee table. We have these 2 geese on the coffee table, and you're seeing like really exactly what I saw. So a bowl sitting on the table still that has Fruit Loops in it, my coffee mug, my Owala giant water cup. And I'm just taking a second to go in and like map out what is there. So there are books on the shelf, there are DVDs, why, I don't know, Elaine won't let me get rid of them, and like knickknacks, photos, a platter, just things like that. Anytime you see my giant face come into the screen, I'm checking my reference image. So you'll see that a few more times. And then I got the couch in here with the knot pillow, which is, I think that corner is my favorite part of the drawing, honestly. And then I'm just getting the wall art up. I did notice that I didn't put the like baseboard because our walls are white and our floor is concrete. I forgot to put the baseboard, which I think would have helped it like section out a little bit better. I'll probably go in and add that today when I'm working my Hobonichi. But the Canon Ivy sticker pages or Canon Ivy photo pages are sticky on the back. So I just peeled it off and went ahead and stuck it down. Honestly, that's the most nerve-wracking part of this. It does peel up pretty easy if you mess it up, but I was nervous to put it in the wrong spot, and I still honestly kind of did. That's okay. And then I'm just using my Tombow markers here to like block out a lot of color. It's not perfect. I don't want it to be. I did get a little Tombow on the picture, and I was just able to kind of wipe it away with my finger, which was nice. And then came in with my mild liners. I go back and forth between mild liners and Tombows on pretty much everything that I'm doing. And the mild liners with the brush tip are my favorite. I love those. It does get a little chaotic here, I think, because I'm just grabbing markers and filling stuff in. And by the time I was done with it, you'll see me in the early parts of this process, like putting everything back in the right container. But then towards the end, it's just a free for all. They're like all over the table. At one point, I think I have like 2 pens in my hand. Yeah, 3 pens in my hand right there, going back and forth. Yeah, I mean, I think if you're watching this video, you're pretty comfortable with Tombows and mild liners, or at least you know what they are. But Tombows are so nice for like layering up color. I like to see when I work on ceramics, I like to see the brush strokes, but I guess it's not a brush stroke with a marker. I like to see the like scribbles, I like to see the texture when I'm drawing with the Tombows, and they're able to do that, and you're able to like build up a bunch of color too, which is nice. I did lie to you a little bit. I had fried rice there, not Fruit Loops, but I thought it was going to be easier in a small area to do Fruit Loops instead of fried rice. These are Elaine's, I'm looking for the black here. I can never find the black because it just blends in. These are Elaine's slippers. I got in the middle of it and was like, I wish I would have just done my slippers, because I think it's a little difficult to like read what they are, but I still think it's cute. And you'll see at the end, like, those are exactly where her slippers are. And right now too. I just looked over. These colors aren't real in terms of like, these aren't obviously what our books look like and DVDs and CDs and stuff. But I just wanted to like, I don't know. I basically just grabbed the colors that I liked and filled in that way. And here I move on to the wall art. This is like a wood board thing that I made a million years ago that says Atlanta. And then these 2 paintings are from when I worked at my favorite tattoo shop for a few years. We would do a Christmas painting swap. And I got, actually I have 3 in the house. And they are some of my most prized possessions. I grabbed the pencil board here because I noticed, I don't know why. I think maybe because there's so much stuff behind this page, like paper and other things with too much texture, it was like throwing it off a little bit. So I put the pencil board behind there. This is from Hank Pratt. He is a tattoo artist in Atlanta. He did this like amazing snake with butterflies and peonies. And then this is Danielle DeStefano's. She did this like black and gray eagle holding a skull, and it's the best. And then if you look actually on the bookcase, the oval thing with like blue scribbles in it, that is from Charles Chatoff. He is a tattoo artist. Right now he's currently in LA, but he painted this for me. It's actually a platter. I like sent him home with some glaze and like a giant platter, and he did it, and I also love it. It's also very satisfying. They're so good and they're so talented. And then Charles was like, oh, glazing on ceramics is actually really hard. It's not as easy as it looks. What I want to tell people. Then I'm just kind of giving you the essence of what's there. There's like another ceramic piece that looks like a bag. There's 2 or 3 picture frames, and instead of trying to like put everybody's face in there, I think I just put like 4 or 5 circles. Then I move on to the table. Words are hard. They're so hard. And again, like, this isn't a perfectly rendered look at our table. I like doing suggestions. I like when the outline's a little bit wonky. I like doing crazy, like, bold color and then encapsulating it with this like bold black outline. I think a black outline saves everything and just makes it so interesting. And I like helps you be, I think, more confident. Like when you can start laying down black lines like that, you can do anything in the world. In here, I get a little like big for my britches. We have a rug on the ground that is a bunch of different colors in this crazy pattern. And I was like, yeah, I can just do the suggestion of it because it's just way too complicated. And so I just grabbed a few of the colors and like, I'm fine with it. I do like hints at the pattern, but I mostly just scribble. I think it looks great. Oh, I added, last minute, I decided to add the record player because over in the corner it was looking a little bit like bare. And again, I am going to go back and add the like baseboard just to help break up the ground in the wall. Excuse me. Last minute touches. I like to add this text on top. I think I got this text style from Natasha in Your Phone, where I'm basically, instead of just doing block letters, I'm taking every like slab that makes a letter and outlining it. So that is my back journaling practice. I rely very heavily on my Instagram stories, my camera roll, and my Hobonichi weeks. And when in doubt, I just put a meme on it. Today's page was a really good snapshot of what I like to do. It's like a mix of photos, it's a mix of drawings, it's a lot of color and a strong black outline, which is my favorite thing always. I feel like a black outline saves every single mistake you've ever made. I also think the like hint of something is just as strong as drawing like an intricate pattern. Could I have really looked at my rug and gone in on it hard? Yes. But for what? It seems like so boring. So I'm happy with my squiggles and my squaggles. Anyway, that is everything. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Let me know how you back journal, what that looks like for you. Do you work in your planner every day? More power to you. Maybe one day I'll be like that. And let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.